Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. We are here live on a Tuesday for a midweek preview live stream. Only four games this game week. Well, it's not really a game week. We've got a postponement catching up, and we've got FA Cup teams having games brought forward, etc., to try and fill in. But a couple of interesting possible outcomes from these games, especially given that result between West Brom and Stoke last night. So big chances, particularly on Wednesday night, for both Fulham and Nottingham Forest. Hi guys in the chat. We're on a bit early tonight. Sorry if I've caught anybody out. So we'll go straight to Wednesday first. And it is 19th place Charlton hosting Fulham. So Fulham into that third place spot, and this is a really, really big game for Fulham psychologically because they can close that gap to Leeds right up to 1 point. Now, I know that Leeds catch up the game in hand next midweek. That'll be at home to Millwall, won't it? But to be that close in when the gap was so big, will be a good psychological boost for Fulham if they can do it, and they are in pretty decent form. We've only got four games, guys, so questions. If you just hold up, we'll do a nice little Q&A at the end and discuss some of these things people are throwing up in the chat. Fulham followed up the three straight losses in that three-game week in December. 13 points in six, so really decent. There is a defeat in there at home to Reading, but that does not matter if you win four, lose one, draw one. Absolutely no problem with that. You do that all season, you're going to probably be champions. So decent. No Mitrovic, obviously. Bobby Reid in there up the front. I think someone did just say in the chat Cardiff might be keen on recalling Reid. We'll see. I haven't looked into that at all, so we'll see what the deal says, whether they can do that. Knockaert starred in the last game. He had a bit of a hamstring injury. Colm says Reid is going nowhere. Yeah, I don't know the deal. Joe says Matt Cash to AC Milan. Well, that'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Don't know where that one has been reported. Hector's come in and done well, hasn't he? Onoma has taken good minutes. Didn't really expect him to break into that team, and he's done very, very well. McDonald covering for Reid. Kongolo as well is coming on loan from Huddersfield. Could make his debut. Joe says that Cash story all on Sky Sports. Interesting. Robin says this is the nervous part of the season up to Easter. Absolutely, all good fun. Now, Charlton have been on the slide for a long time. I tapped into who scored, wound the table back to see at what point they weren't actually on relegation form. It's now 23 games. We go back 23 games. Only Luton have been worse than Charlton. Animation says, can't believe Jordan Archer joined Fulham. Yeah, he wasn't good enough for Millwall, was he? Good agent. There you go. People need homegrown players, don't they? And they need keepers who are happy to sit on the bench, which I think Archer will be more than happy to do so at Fulham. It's only that super first start keeping them out. Robin asked about Charlton and the Belgian connection. No, that is all done now. Mr. De Chatelet has gone, so you'd think that will be a thing of the past. Gallagher's obviously gone. Williams back at the weekend is good. No Anike, Cullen and Solly, but they're all back training. Taylor Close, no. Bond, so still ravaged with injuries. Charlton, prediction on this one. I suspect we're going to have to go for the narrative. Let's go for the Fulham win, which would be, God, the 5th in 7. And that will close the gap up, make things very interesting for us neutral. Will it make Leeds sweat and panic, or will they push on? Hit to the game says Fulham 2-0. Next, we'll do the other Wednesday night game if we're working our way down the table. Forest in 5th versus Reading. Remember, this is an actual game in hand, unlike Fulham's. So Forest can move up to 50 points. I don't think Forest would be bothered with Fulham winning, actually. I think up the top there, you want it to be a bit chaotic. And you've kind of got more chance getting in the top two if you're Forest if there's four teams challenging. So Robin says over the last 8 games, only 2 teams with 2 points per game. Yeah, I can have a look at the form table over 6. There's a few over 6, but yeah, I don't know over 8. Forest, yeah, they're one of the form teams. 4 wins in the last 5. Could have been 5 out of 5 if it hadn't been for that mad last minute of Reading took the lead on 96 and equalised on 97. And this obviously is a rematch for that game. Diakabi's coming on loan from Huddersfield. He is lightning fast. Plays down the left-hand side. 9 starts, 9 subs. I saw him play on the opening day of the season. Very, very quick player. Obviously, the Cowleys have had a long, hard look at him and either don't fancy him or there's a wage thing and they need to get stuff off the bills at Huddersfield. They've come down. They'll have 3 years parachute payments, won't they? Because they're up more than 1 season. But this first season has obviously not gone as planned. So you would imagine phase 1 of removing stuff off the balance sheet will have started, being they're definitely going to be down for a minimum of another season. Jack Robinson's gone out to Sheffield United. He's gone the same way that Ben Osborne did. He'd made 6 appearances. We'll see Ribeiro at left back. Reading defeat and a draw in the last 2. Animation says him, Lolly and Graben would be scary to play against. Yeah, if Lamouchi pushes them up as a front 3, unlikely it would be a 4-1-4-1. But I take Animation's point. You've got that threat down the wide. Although if Matt Cash goes to AC Milan like people are going to report, then maybe that does weaken the right-hand side. Eco says half-time report on the missing fish. They are both swimming around there. Don't worry about the fish. Lovely. I think they had a water change in there. Definitely 2 in there. One's at the back behind that stone. There, Robin says Millwall are getting my team of the season so far. I'm grateful. Has the Reading bubble burst? We wonder. Had been a great run, hadn't it? And a defeat and a draw. No Lucas Yao for a couple of months for them. Baldock started the last game. Puskás is working his way back. Maite's been used out wide, so they're a little bit light up top at the moment. I'm just going to go for complete chaos here. Let's go for a Forest win. We would love to, as a neutral, see a top 4 there, a top 5 if you had Brentford all duking it out. When I thought a month or so ago that Leeds and West Brom were going to run away with it, hey, they still could. Wouldn't it be great? We had that great shootout between Norwich, Leeds and Sheffield United last year. Be good to have a similar sort of thing this season. So I'm predictably, as I got called out for on YouTube the other day, the higher teams to win. I may not be doing it in this next game because Dean says Forest and Brentford catching Leeds in DDO. Barnsley in 22nd versus Preston. Chance for Preston to go 6th with a win. Closes the gap back on Stoke. Draws Huddersfield and Charlton to within 2 points in that bottom 6. Scramble if Barnsley get the win down there. Preston important win over Charlton at the weekend. Form leading into that not good. 3 wins in 11 and they've beaten 10-man Fulham, bottom side Luton and way out of form Charlton. So I'm going to say that Preston haven't really beaten anybody very soon. Okay, Fulham are good, but big mitigating factor was Doy got sent off early in that game, didn't he? And they won by the single goal. I don't class Barnsley with Luton and Charlton because they have been trending upwards. Phil says Jacob Brown can make the difference. He's another of those players like Chaplin who really improved under Struber. Pearson and Gallagher were both not around at the weekend. Daniel Johnson was back in that spot. Be good for them to get all of those guys fit and they've got really get back to that rotation they had at the start of the season looking really, really good. Barnsley, they went under late at Bristol City. They've been in good form. However, Chaplin won that Player of the Month, didn't he? 2 defeats in the last 3 is not the ticket. And that win for Stoke, not great. But hey, a win here sucks everyone in and it sucks Charlton ever closer. Dean says, love your QPR review. Naki Wells goal was ball to hand, not hand to ball. I'm afraid that's not in the rules, Dean, and they've tweaked them very recently to say that in the lead up to a goal, deliberate or not deliberate, if it hits your hand, it should be disallowed. So it doesn't matter deliberate, not deliberate, which it does say in the rules. Ball to hand, not ball to hand. However you word it, however you slice it, that Wells goal, I'm afraid it should have been ruled out. But hey, QPR will take that. Someone asked a nice Ipswich Norwich question in there. Take the 3 points, Dean. Hey, lovely stuff. I'm going to go for Barnsley in this one because I've got evidence that they're trending upwards. And the only evidence I've got on Preston are those wins against 10-man Fulham. Dean says, I'm trying it, I'm QPR. Fair. The only evidence I've got on Preston is 10-man Fulham and Luton and Charlton. I don't class Barnsley in that team. I kind of like Barnsley and I want this. You can see I'm just going with my heart here. I want a top 5 all challenging and I want a nice bottom 6 with lots of movement there. It's just the problem with movement in the bottom 6 is teams in the bottom 6 don't win. That is why they're in the bottom 6. I'm going to go for Barnsley, although it's more likely going to be a draw, this one, isn't it? I don't imagine Preston getting the win. Wilkes to Hull was a strange move, says hip to the game. Yeah, he was at Barnsley from Leeds, wasn't he? Obviously didn't work out there, but Grant McCann likes to have a look. We'll see. The remaining game, Borough in 17th versus Birmingham. Borough, like Reading, had been on a really, really good run, drawing a defeat since Woodgate took the manager of the month. Well, a couple of games other as well. Josh says, do I think Mowat will leave Barnsley? Possibly. They're set up to sell, aren't they? So if they stay up, they probably get a good price. But yeah, he's very likely to go if they go down. All Animation says McCann had him at Donny and he was really good there. There you go. That explains Wilkes to Hull. I knew there'd be something in it, wouldn't there? It's a great thing about this chat, isn't it? We get all the answers pretty quickly, don't we? Borough can jump up to place. There's no new injury stuff. It's just these defenders, Friend and Shotton, long-term, Jug Steele and Ayala, and they let Boller go back to Blackpool, didn't they, on loan? So, yeah, obviously confident he can cover those defensive positions if he's prepared to do that. Birmingham 4 picks in the last 2, excuse me, falling over my words, but informed the generally trending downwards. Dean, likely. Millwall question, Collins. Guys, I'll come to questions in just a second. Ask him again. I'll just do this one quickly. Dean suspended, Roberts in that spot. Borough, I've backed Borough. Hit to the game says 2-1. Every time in the home games against the lower ranking teams they've won, I've backed them every time. And so I've got to back Borough for a 1-0 or a 2-1 like hit to the game. Says, someone asked in the chat there, Millwall for the playoffs looking very, very good. Ryan Woods is a good signing. Quality player there. Rowett's doing the job. I genuinely believe there is that 6th place up for grabs. You don't really see Fulham, Brentford and Forest slipping out of it, do you? I know there's 19, 18 games to go, but I think the 6th place is up for grabs. Anyone, look there, Swansea, Millwall, Bristol City, Preston, Wednesday. Any one of those 5 could take it. Wednesday might get points deduction. Obviously, Bristol City are very stripy. Preston, I've said, been on poor form. Swansea, you would say with Brewster and Gallagher in, some good recruitment there. Robin says, if Bristol City don't go up, maybe Johnson will go. I don't know. I think as long as they're around there, I think they're going to be okay. When you hear him talk about them being sustainable, he's definitely got the kind of management speak, sustainable and moving forward. I think it was Josh asked about Ben Rama and Watkins. They're just going to be so expensive, aren't they? So I don't see that happening in January. Eco, what do you hope will happen? Ipswich in the Championship or Norwich in the Championship? We may get a scenario of both of them back. But knowing life as an Ipswich fan, Ipswich will lose in the playoffs and Norwich will win their last 4 games in a row and survive on goal difference or something like that. To be honest, even though it's good for my viewership numbers having Ipswich and Norwich in the Championship, for my sanity, it's kind of good having them apart for a little while. Hey, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Robin says, Rotherham certainly, yeah, Paul Warren knows what he's doing there. Dean says, Ivan Toney, can't believe no one snapped him up. Yeah, it's just, I think the likely destination would be Hull if Bowen was sold. So you're looking for the money and the dominoes to start falling there. And where's the big money going to come in? Yeah, maybe Brentford and yeah, maybe Hull. Otherwise, who's going to sell a player at this point? Madison, yeah, Charlton, we're thinking, aren't we? Phil says Tony was on loan at Barnsley a couple of years ago and did nothing. Look at him now. There we go. Yeah, good for Eco says good for East Anglia to have them two in the same division. Robin says out of Brentford and Forest, who do you think would be the biggest threat to the top two? Forest can be very consistent, can't they, with their solid team shape and their ability to defend. You'd think that would suit them better in the playoffs, whereas Brentford and Fulham, in terms of just picking up points and winning lots of games, probably Brentford and Fulham, I would say. Josh says Forest need a striker. Assombalonga being linked everywhere, isn't he? Thoughts on what's going on at Derby? I think that you should all subscribe to Kieran Maguire and he'll inform you much better than I can. Yeah, it's been madness at Derby for a long while. They've lawyered up, haven't they? 9 points, 15 points, 11 point, 12 point deduction. We'll see what they say, whether there's aggravated breaches and whatnot. If they've charged them, they're definitely going to get points deducted. So, and the Birmingham thing here, Robin says 10. It'll be, it's normally less than you expect, doesn't it? Who do I think is a better player, Lolly or Knockaert? It's a good comparison, actually, both coming from the right, shoot with their left feet. I suppose Knockaert has bossed the championship before. It's a tricky one. I'll go Knockaert, Jess, but both of them, actually, from the Forest fans I spoke to, both of them not quite hitting their potential at the moment. I think someone said relegate all FFP teams. I think the FFP is trying to save them, so I don't know if relegating them will help them, but save them from themselves and the massive spending. Strikes me at this juncture, the only thing that's going to save this is a Premier League 2 and the money disparity dropping. Josh says hopefully a Luton game Lloyd can kick on. Yeah, fair point. Dean says Jack Clark may fit in well at QPR. My question, Dean, is where? Because Eze and Samuel so good impact sub, but you think Spurs, after what happened at Leeds, would have some assurances about how many minutes he'll play. Maybe we'll see Eze move back into the 10th position, which would seem quite unfair on Chair, wouldn't it? But and then you can got those three behind the front, some real pace and skill there. James Corden, top 6 prediction in order. James, that's impossible, isn't it? I think West Brom, Leeds, Fulham, Brentford, Forest are locked. They will all finish in the top 6. And there's one other place. Don't ask me what the order's going to be. Everyone was saying they were so far ahead of the rest, West Brom and Leeds. Can they go back on? One had a 7-game streak, one had a 6-game streak. Josh says Eze is another player I'm surprised. Yeah, English playing in London, premium isn't it? Right. Any more questions? People talking about teams putting a run together for that 6th place. It's definitely up for grabs. It's going to be a hard playoff for whoever finishes 6th because you're likely to get that decent team, maybe Fulham or Brentford, in the playoff semi in 3rd place. Do have a fancy for Sabri Lamouchi in the playoff. Which team's most goals so far? I think we can say, is that West Brom? West Brom, QPR 2nd, incredibly. Dean says Luton survive, hope they will, not looking likely, is it? Hip to the game says West Brom there. Josh touting Millwall in the playoffs. You would fancy going away to Millwall for a playoff semi first leg, would you? That would be tasty. It'd be nice to see the Den full up. I was there for a game against Fulham when it was really, really busy. I've never heard anything as loud and as intimidating. Fulham did come out with the win though, but Jake Cooper hit the bar after about 5 minutes, and I think the roof was going to come off the stadium if that one went in. So, look, going to be a good, interesting midweek. Looking forward to these games. Looking at it, I would like wins for Fulham and Forest to get that top 4 going. I'd like to see Barnsley get the win, although then Wigan and Luton really are adrift. But we want to, if Barnsley lose, then it's a 4-point gap that Stoke have opened up. And we've all said for weeks, Stoke and Huddersfield, and they're not likely to finish in the bottom 5. I wouldn't have thought you'd pop Charlton in there ahead of them. And then someone pointed out, either on Twitter or on YouTube, that another gap there between League One. You got all the League One promoted teams and Wigan down there, haven't you? So, right. I will disappear now. I'll try and catch some, or Eco says it ain't over for Luton until the fat lady sings. It ain't over for Luton if they can get Izzy Brown back. That's the thing. Super Leagues TV says Barnsley staying up ahead of Stoke. Wow, that's a shout, isn't it? Stoke. God, imagine Stoke or Huddersfield went down on parachute money. I know we saw Sunderland do it, so it is possible, isn't it? But what a failure! All the advantage the parachute gives you. There we go. Josh says, do I honestly think Leeds will bottle it? Can we just change the language there? Because remember, Leeds under Bielsa have gone from 13th and kind of nothingness to being one of the best teams in the league. So I wouldn't, even if they don't go up, I wouldn't say it's bottling it. It's just they've got this. I understand the terminology from Josh, getting them into that position and then them not making it. But look at the improvement. Look at Ayling now. Look at Cooper. Look at Dallas. You know, can play anywhere. Phillips. I just think you've got to look at the big picture and see what Bielsa's done to improve them. So I don't like the term bottling it, but hey, Leeds fan there saying Leeds to finish fourth. Leeds need a striker badly. Phillips suspended for the game against Forest. Yeah, February the 8th, that one. And then I will be, it's a great shout from Animation, Dallas is the Milner of the Championship. I think Dallas is a great player, and, you know, Bielsa really does improve these players who are, you know, just, where did Ayling come from? Yeovil? Dallas came from Scotland, didn't he? You know, there we go. What's Leeds' season ticket price this year? Expensive, probably. Bielsa gone if Leeds don't get promoted, surely, says Little Cray, you would think so. I just think you need to see the big picture. Dean says Brentford Leeds. Am I going? Here we go, Leeds fans. Yes, I am going to Brentford versus Leeds. Will the curse continue? There we go. Josh asks if I'm getting down to City Ground. I'm not going to be. I'll be at Millwall, West Brom likely the next day. So, hey ho. Looking at the last day of the season, do you know, I've just been offered some work in Leeds the Friday night before the last game of the season, Leeds Charlton, which increases my chances of being at Leeds on the last day of the season quite greatly. I'm sure Leeds fans will be terrified to hear that as well. Look, it's the London curse, isn't it? I think there's a Wednesday fan in their CLC saying that the Leeds and the Wednesday prices aren't that far off. Hey, Dean says London's the curse, not Ben. Yeah, absolutely. Leeds, are you looking forward to meeting the Mighty Lions, says John. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one, won't it? That's next Tuesday, Leeds versus Mill. That'll tell us a lot about Mill. If Mill can get out of there with a point and keep on that good form, they'll be looking really good. If they go there and win, wow. I think you're going to get a lot of excited Millwall fans about that 6th place spot. Oh, God, even higher if they go to Leeds. What is the ceiling for Millwall? Right. I'm now going to disappear off, go and get some food. I'll try and catch one of these games. We'll do some reviews, maybe Thursday of these games. We'll be back for the preview. Oh, actually, no, it's FA Cup this week. I'm going to be at Millwall, Sheffield United. Really looking forward to that. So, yeah, we'll figure out the content this weekend. Animation says London curse, small squad, long journeys. Yeah. Ailing from Bristol City. Thank you, Jeff. I knew it was somewhere down the west. Josh says I'm needed at every Forest game. Hey, sort me out tickets, guys. I will be there. Yeah, Forest 100% with me watching. In fact, Josh will be very pleased to hear I'll be at Brentford Forest. There we go. Andrew says, good day. What have I missed? You've missed the whole stream, Andrew. Lots of good stuff in the chat, though, so well worth going back and watching. Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Subscribe, ring the bell, YouTube. Patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. See you all very soon. And quickly, as always, thank you everybody in the chat. There was a brilliant moment here where someone asked a question. I said, I don't know. Someone else answered it. And we're all more the wiser. We're all nerds here, obviously, about Malik Wilkes, why he ends up at Hull. So brilliant stuff in the chat, as per usual. It's nothing without the chat, just me rambling about what I know, which is a little bit about all 24 teams, not a load like all you guys do. So brilliant stuff. Right. Thank you, everybody, saying thank you, and see you all very soon. Enjoy the football tonight, and I am backing Borough. If anyone wants to bet off me, Borough, I think 11 to 10. Get on that. Don't shoot me if they lose. Right. Thank you very much. Over and out.